Welcome to another episode of the Tower 26B Race Review Podcast. I'm Jim here with Coach Gerry Rodriguez. Coach, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. And as I was looking up right above our camera here, I saw this beautiful photo of you and your wife on vacation. It must be in Tahiti.
Bora
Looks
Bora.
Tahiti.
Bora
Bora
Bora. You're
Bora.
right,
All
you're
right.
right.
So
Bora Bora, Tahiti.
land in Tahiti, go to Bora Bora.
Yep.
And it got me thinking, weren't you guys just on another vacation? Where were you? Didn't you go to Mexico?
Where did we go? We went to Cabo. Yeah.
Cabo.
Let's say, let's move on from Cabo.
Let's move on
About
from
the kids.
Cabo.
It was a little chaotic and a little expensive, and yeah, let's move on. Let's go. Let's go past that.
Well, let's go to Nice. I mean, you
Yeah.
took a little vacay to Nice. I don't think you took the wife to it.
vacay.
Should we pass on that?
Let me tell you something. I left Wednesday afternoon, got there Thursday afternoon, Nice time.
Yep.
Race Sunday, back on a plane 2 p.m. Monday, back home.
Oh,
Took the kids to school by Tuesday, 8 a.m.
you must have fallen asleep driving.
Superman. Just call me Superman.
Wow.
No, it was quite an experience. It was fun. It was. I had a whole 25-minute debrief on the YouTube channel. So if you guys want to watch that, I'll put the link in the show notes. But holy cow, what a course!
Where'd you do? Tell me about the debrief.
Brutal course. But the swim, absolutely beautiful, Jared. It was pristine waters, aqua blue.
Nice.
I mean, it doesn't get more beautiful than this swim. Water temperature was non-wetsuit swim, so it was about 78, 79 degrees.
Oh, beautiful.
And it actually was an M course, right? So just like we do every Wednesday morning, we set up the M course, but this was an M course for the Ironman distance, 4,000 meters. It was awesome.
Was it a double M or was it just a single M?
Single M. You know, if you would have been running it,
Did you have to exit the water or no?
no exits?
Okay.
You had to make a U-turn.
So internal M.
If you know about Nice, it's a rock beach. It's not a sand beach. So getting out and running back in would have been
don't want to do that.
Quite a hassle. But the way it worked out, that it was nice. I mean, you could just swim out to the turn, first M and the top turn, back to the bottom turn, back to the top turn, back to the finish, and it really made it easy to break down the course in the smaller segments.
I like that 4 segments. So those turns must have been tight, sort of acute turns, right?
Actually, they were long. They were about 200 meters. So you had to go. There was 2 turn buoys at the top, so it wasn't a straight 180 back.
Okay.
It was turn buoy to turn buoy, then back in, turn buoy to turn buoy.
Got it.
Then back out, turn buoy to turn buoy.
So they created some lateral spread
Yeah.
between the sort of apex points.
But I'll tell you what, it was a melee. It was as close to as you get to a mass start as you have nowadays, because there's 300-400 guys, deep water start in each age group.
Oh, nice.
And it was just a melee
Old
of
school.
arms and legs.
Old
and
school.
I loved it. I never loved a mass start as much as I loved this mass
Well,
start.
you as a hockey guy, former pro hockey player, I mean, you like getting into a
Well,
little
I'll
bit
tell
of
you,
contact.
I've been doing a lot of strength work, the weighted buoy, paddles, on the I swam 30 minutes on tether before this, Jared. As you know, you were locked out of my house, and I was on the tether in my own world. And I think the strength that you've been ingraining into the subscription plan workouts, in addition to my stretch cords, it not only made me stronger from a front to back pole, it made me more confident, stronger in the water, where I can maneuver through people because I had the confidence to keep the cadence up, keep the power up as I moved through.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good to hear.
I mean, it was.
So one person has benefited from our subscription
at least
program.
one person, coaching.tower26.com, hint, hint, hint. But so yeah, my whole goal on the day, I knew that I came into it. Uncle David qualified at Lake Placid, and he said, "I'm not racing unless you race."
You docked to pavement.
He is exactly. He said, "You're not racing. I'm not racing unless you race." And it's his last opportunity to race the World Championships. If you watch my video, you'll see why. But that's a cliffhanger, if you will. That's what you call a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But I went there to race.
Your 25-minute video.
Race review. 25-minute race review, where I go over some things you might be able to learn for your own Ironman experience from this video. But he said it's the last time, so I didn't really train too much going in. And when you don't train too much going into a 9,000-foot, 112-mile bike ride, Jer,
Well,
9,000 foot of elevation.
You've been training with your kids. You haven't been training
Oh,
with
yeah.
bike.
Well, you know, that's the mindfulness training that got me through it, because it definitely was not the physical. So that was a long bike ride. Got on the bike, and
that's a lot of vertical.
I'll tell you, I had every excuse in the world when I got in as I was coming in the back half of the bike, every excuse as to why I wasn't going to run the marathon, because it was probably by an hour and 45 minutes my slowest Ironman bike time. That's a long time on the bike.
Well, I was tracking you and several of our folks, and I saw this was unusual for you, and it got me thinking, I wonder what's going on. At that point, I was also watching the feed live.
Yeah.
And not knowing what was happening with you, I'm watching Christian Blumfeld, and you would have probably Blumfelt. You would have probably felt this on the bike course. Then, you know when you're not feeling it, right? Or when you hit that pain cave. There's always one or two pain moments of like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, right? It was 6.5 hours of that for me.
And everything starts going wrong. Like your glasses don't sit right on your face. Your helmet's not feeling good. Your watch band is, everything's messed up. And I'm watching Blumfeld, and the three of them are running together. They're about 10 miles in.
On the run.
Yeah. So you guys, since you went after, you're probably on the bike leg still, going through the same thing, I would suspect, because he was, all of a sudden, he was fidgeting with everything. Every few seconds, he's fidgeting. And I looked at my wife. I said, he's going to crack. He's going to crack here. And guess what?
He lost.
The cord got snapped right then.
He lost the presence,
And it's that hard spot where everything's just, and it happens to everybody, right?
Oh yeah,
During the race.
Being Ironman, it's out there you're out there for a long time, and it happens. The difference between the guys who win or on the top of the podium and everybody else is they can recognize it and get back to the presence faster than anybody else. I wasn't present at all on this ride. Everything was bothering me. Didn't have a bike fit on the new bike. I was uncomfortable in the saddle. I couldn't get in the TT position. My knees were hurting me. I had all these excuses. I didn't put the time in, blah, 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 blah. So I got in the T2. I sat there. I regrouped. As you know, T2 is usually my bread and butter. That's the fastest thing of the day, right?
Usually very fast.
I just sat there. I didn't care how long it took. I regrouped, got my socks on, got my shoes. I said, okay, I'll just take it. I'll just see how the first few steps feel, because my knees were I don't have bad knees. My knees were killing me. Something with the bike fit. So I took a few steps, and I actually didn't feel too bad. I was like, okay,
nice.
Let me just start cruising, right? And it wasn't a breakneck speed, but I was holding about 8:30, 9-minute pace. And the same thing with the swim. The run was awesome too, because it was just about 5K out, turn around, come back, 5K back, 4 loops.
So
all I had to do is run to each turn. I knew that, but after the first time, I knew each check-in point, each aid station. So I just had to run aid station to aid station, turn around, aid station to aid station, turn around. Before I knew it, I was at mile 16, 17. I was at the home stretch, and it wasn't my fastest marathon time by any means, but I think the way I ran it consistently, start to finish, I was happy with.
Well, courses like that have loops. Some people don't like them. I like those types of courses.
I absolutely love it.
From a coach's standpoint, we love them. It's easier to track your athletes. But also what it gives you, it takes the course and breaks it up into, and you said it, bite-sized pieces. And it's no different than our main sets. If you look at our main sets, the main set in totality may be chunky. Let's say the main set is an hour long. Let's make up a longer main set, swimming, an hour long. But we break it into 3 segments or 3 rounds of each category or each effort. And so let's say it's 10 100s. Bracket that 3 cycles through, right? And the reason we do it 3 cycles through, so whatever mistakes you made on round 1, you can address them on round 2 perhaps, and then sort of really refine it and nail it on round 3. So it's the same thing on a course that's broken up. You go out and back and you go, okay, you sort of figure out all the little spots that are tricky. Second round, okay, I got this. And third time through, I'm better at it.
Exactly.
And the way I looked at you, because I was tracking you really closely, I think your fastest, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't your last leg, the last out and back?
Yeah,
your fastest?
Yeah, it was, and that's what. So
your last quarter, your last 10K was your fastest 10K.
Yeah, and that's what I was planning on. I wanted to say, okay, I'm playing these mental games with myself. I'm in this negative space. I said, okay, let me take it out the first loop, easy, and then every loop I want to descend slightly. Mid-second into the third, I was having a little bit of a hiccup. My legs were starting to fatigue, and then I made the turn on the third loop, and I said, I'm feeling good again. Let me get after it. And I came into the 4th loop and, left it all out there. I looked at it as just a training day for Arizona, which happens next month, 2 months.
So you're doing another one.
I got to redeem myself, Jerry. I got to go crush this age group and show them, hey, who the boss is.
I like it.
What happens when Lubinsky really trains?
Well, you sort of just went with no training to Nice, last minute decision. You decided like the week before. Right?
Yeah, about the week before. Yeah, David booked the ticket, and
it's hard not to go to Nice. I mean, come on.
Oh
right?
God, it's beautiful. The day right before I left. Last little aside. I hope you don't mind if I do an aside here.
It's all about you.
Day before I left, my hotel was right across from the Mediterranean Sea. I had nothing to do until 2 p.m. The flight left at 2. So I just go out there and I swim. Just me, the calm ocean, the beautiful clear sky. I said, this is heaven. Nice. That day when the day comes that, I pass on to the other side, I imagine this is what it's going to be like. Just perfect. That day's not gonna come for a while.
Like
but.
you're swimming mine in Hawaii and Kona that one time.
I thought about that when I was at the far turn row. I was like, this reminds me of when me and my good buddy were out there.
Yeah, we went out that
past the
sunset.
Yeah, out into the past the little break into this, and we just sat there and watched the sunset. Think about that every day.
But that was good times.
Good times. But also I had an experience on course. I was running, and it was in my little hiccup phase. It was about the second and a half, third loop. And I don't know if I was running by him or he was running by me, but guy goes, "Hey, Tower 26, I listened to that podcast." So what did I do, Jer? Put on the brakes. Oh, hey now. Oh, Jim, nice to meet you. He's like, hey, oh my, you're Jim. I said, yeah. He's like, I'm the biggest fan. Daryl Dalton from UK. What do you say when you say someone from England? You say UK, from England, from Britain. What do you say?
All of the above.
I don't know.
Everyone identifies.
I would never trust a Brit, but Daryl's a good dude. What a nice guy, though.
That's
the biggest
great.
fan of the podcast. He wrote me afterwards on Instagram.
Well, wait a minute. That must have given you a little lift.
Oh, definitely gave me a lift.
Yeah.
I told him that same thing. I was like, dude, I needed this right now. Thank you for reaching out. So Daryl Dalton from the UK.
Oh, that's awesome.
I hope you have a couch. I'm going to come stay on that couch sometime.
That's great.
That's get some training in, go get some training in, fish and chips, and a pub. Maybe I'll bring a Driscoll and I'll leave him over there.
Well, hey, the message that I'm hearing from you is that there are hiccups, especially in Ironman races. You're going to go through some dark periods and just, dive in, hang in there.
Yeah.
You're going to come out of it, right? I mean, we have some athletes going to Kona, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. But you're going to go through, you're out there for 8 to 16 hours. So something not so good is going to happen at least once or twice, right?
For sure. And it's all about that perseverance and overcoming
how you manage it. Yep.
Exactly. So it's funny you bring that up because I got a call 2 weeks ago from my old ice hockey coach back when I was 17 years old playing in Bismarck, North Dakota. It was his first year coaching. And
he called you.
He wrote me email or text email or text. And he said, "Hey, Jim," and I talked to him on and off throughout the years, definitely not anything that's frequent, but here and there we touch base. I watch what he's doing. He's since become the winningest North American coach in the history of junior ice hockey.
Wow.
So he has about 800 wins. Scott Langer.
800 wins?
800 wins. About
How old is he, 90?
250 losses. Well, they play 80 games a year, 30 years. It's a lot.
That's an 80%.
I mean, he's kicking ass, man. He's won the
incredible.
championship a bunch of times. And I like to say it's because, where he started, right? He started with his toughest subject, and he moved up from there. But so Scott, Coach Langer, and Coach Langer is someone I've thought about pretty much every day for 30 years because he changed my life. He took me and he said, I'm going to take a chance on you. Him and Coach Buchanan. Coach Buchanan was the head coach. Coach Langer was the assistant coach. And he took a chance on me, and they took me into Bismarck. And Bismarck was the springboard for pretty much the rest of my ice hockey career into college, scholarship to college, came out of there, learned the skills to make the transfer to the triathlon, had the confidence to persevere a career in triathlon. So I owe a lot to Scott, right? Coach Langer. I call him Smacko. His name's Smacko because he talks a lot of smack. And so he actually reached out to me 2 weeks ago, and he said, "Hey, I see this stuff you're doing online, the things you talk about. I watch the podcast.
Really?
And I love your thought process and like what you convey to your athletes and to the people out there. I would like you to talk to my team. I would like you to come have a talk to the Aberdeen Wings. They're in the North American Hockey League." And so I had a call last week with his coaching staff, and I kind of went over the things that I wanted to hit on.
Right.
And it's exactly what we're talking about: perseverance, presence,
right,
and practice. Right. You got to persevere through the challenges. You got to keep moving forward. There's always going to be hiccups in your career, not only in a game, but in your career, ups and downs. But if you really love the sport, you have a passion for it, and you want to succeed, you keep moving forward, right? You think about the best way through that obstacle, around that obstacle, and you keep moving forward towards your goal. I was actually called the worst player in the league every year growing up, from probably 14, 15, all the way up through professional ice hockey. There was a player on the other team that called me the worst player in the league. And I knew I made it as an ice hockey player when I was called the worst player by an opposing team, the worst player in professional ice hockey. I was like, there we go. I'm getting paid to play ice hockey, and you call me the worst player in the league. Every single year, somebody's called me the worst player in the league. But you know what? I kept moving forward. I didn't let that affect me.
Itself, yes.
Right. But that brings me to the next point. The next point is presence, right? So perseverance, obviously, we already talked about that in triathlon, but presence is a big thing too. If you let the noise get to you, if you let the chirping and that we're saying, the moving the glasses and the fidgeting and all that kind of stuff, take that mindset away from the present focus on the effort, the mindfulness of the effort in triathlon, then you're going to have a tough time getting through that race successessly, just as Blumenfeld did.
Right. And no, did you give this talk already, or it's coming up?
No, not yet.
And the presence thing, and when I'm going to make a quick suggestion.
I love it.
When you get to the presence segment, to me, it's and it's been proven to us. Here's another P. It's proven that people don't stay present because it's our least listened to podcast. That was one of our initial podcasts back when, okay? And it's still our least listened to podcast. Yeah. And if you ask this coach and this athlete here, when a former athlete, I think it's probably the most important ingredient.
No, totally. You let that mind.
In addition to consistency, right? That's always the foundation. But being completely engaged and emptying one's mind of every single thing else other than what you're doing. Yeah. When you're on the ice for those 90 minutes or however long you guys are on, or when you're out doing your swim, bike, or run workout, there should be nothing else in your mind. Nothing.
Well, there's a ice hockey. The Florida Panthers won the last couple Stanley Cups, and sure, they're a skilled team, just like all the NHL players are skilled, right? They're the top of the top. The guys in the National Hockey League, it's the top league in the world. So the best players in the world.
The 1%ers of the 1%ers.
But one of the things this team has going for them is they talk a lot, right? They talk a lot of garbage to the other team.
A lot of smack.
A lot of smack, a lot of noise, and they get into the other team's head. So it totally throws them off their game. Right, so I was talking to the coaching staff of the Aberdeen Wings last week, and they actually said, "Hey, we had this game against this team last week, and they were just talking so much garbage to our team. It was getting us off our game." So in a sport like ice hockey, you might think, okay, we're not out there for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, and you have to keep refocusing. But it's stuff like that, quieting the noise and staying focused to what your specific goal is for the game, and not letting that external noise or those goons influence your presence.
Right. No, it's a biggie. So what's the other?
The practice.
The third practice.
So practice, especially for guys like this. And in triathlon, we got a lot of egos in triathlon, if you haven't noticed this, right? You're strong on the bike, you're gonna get on that bike and you're gonna freaking hammer. But if you suck at the swim, you're gonna say, I don't want to swim. I want to just get on the bike, right? I'll swim one time a week and I'll bike 15 hours a week. You don't focus on the weakness because you let that ego talk, because it hurts to swim 230 per 100, but then go out and put 450 watts. It's the same thing with these young kids, right? They get out of practice and they want to go, excuse my French, they want to go chasing panties, right? They want to go play video games. They want to do anything else, but they have the opportunity to stay on the ice and go work on their stick handling, work on their shooting, go put on their rollerblades after practice. And, if they really want it, they're already at the top of the level they need to be at. They need to go that extra mile and really apply presence to their practice so they can make the most of their career at this developmental stage.
Well, there's no coincidence that Michael Jordan or the former Kobe Bryant or Michael Phelps, I mean, these athletes, I'm sure it was the same with who's the terrific hockey player, Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have probably all spent more time than almost everybody else practicing. Yeah. And with complete focus and dedication, right? So...
Well, that's what I say to these. That's what I have on my list, on my notes, my bullet points. Is you don't see it, like you see the game, but you don't see what these superstars are doing outside of the game, and it's just endless hours of focused practice, very detailed. It's not sexy, but it's what they need to do to small gain, ton of small gains, make a huge gain.
Well, the glory is race day, but no one sees what goes into it. It's we had that talk on the beach a number of years ago when Chef Gordon Ramsay was there.
Yeah.
My introduction was
another Brit.
I trust
Brit. I trust him. He's a good guy.
He is a great guy. Yeah. And my introduction of Gordon was, you guys, Gordon Ramsay's here, the gentleman who on TV. It took him 20 years to become an overnight success. Yeah. You don't see the 20 years when he was in the kitchen sharpening knives and sweeping the floor, right? Right. You just see the guy on TV now who's arrived. Well, behind every arrival, right, there's a whole lot of other departures every single day with training sessions and, having to grind away.
Well, I love that story about him. I love the story about the Beatles because that's the same thing. You see the Beatles on Ed Sullivan back, what was it?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
60 years ago or whatever. Yeah. you see them and they're a huge worldwide success, but I love reading about their rise to fame. They played everything that they could get their hand. They were in clubs with one person in it, and they just go club to club to club to club, refining that skill. So when you see them at Ed Sullivan, you don't see the years of dedication they made to the process of just getting out there in front of people and perfecting their art.
You know, this may seem to some people listening more off topic, but I think we're totally on topic here with the psychology of and the requirements that are needed for success. And by the way, I had no idea. This is another little thing you kept secret from me. You are like a monster history buff. I had no idea about
certain topics,
World War stuff.
Topics,
I mean, history on of the battles, and again, that's about leadership.
Yeah.
Wars are about leadership. It's about the chess game. I mean, yes, it's a sad situation and there are deaths and so on, but at the level of running the apparatus, right?
Yeah. Well, I like, you think about, and this is...
Anyway, so I didn't know. I didn't know you were the guy.
But you look at guys like Winston Churchill, like he didn't have to do what he did for World War II. He didn't have to stick to his guns and say, no, we're going to combat this horrible dictator, and we're going to give everything we got, lose a ton of people, but we're going to fight this guy. He could have just been like passive and said, nah, it is what it is.
You read his books, The Last Line?
99.99. I read,
Yeah.
So I like
big old fat.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. But, getting back to the presence thing, if I can recommend a book, Elite Minds, over here, I recommend this to all our athletes by Stan Beecham. Dr. Stan Beecham. I recommend this to everybody. A lot of good mindful stuff in here. So go to Amazon, Elite Minds, Stan Beecham. You can read that and learn more on presence. Gerry, I got another thing I want to talk about quickly before we get to what you want to talk about. We know that what I want to talk about is...
I always want to talk about you.
But Max Wagner, our superstar athlete, Wagner, called me this morning. He called me last night, but he lives in New York. So I figured when I saw he called, it was late in New York. I figured I'd talk to him today. Max is such a sweet guy.
Yes.
He wrote me this morning. He said, hey, I'm in Culver City. I'm driving into the Sony Studios parking lot. I'm going on Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. And he said, I need some tips because, as you know, back in 2011,
yours truly,
or 2010, I was on Wheel of Fortune.
That's right.
Kicked ass on that. I won like 20 grand, a trip to Greece, a trip to Napa Valley. Really had an awesome performance. So he said, I need some tips.
I didn't know that at the time. I wish I did.
Well, let me show you something. You got that picture on your iPad? I'll show you guys. I got if you guys are watching, we're on YouTube live right now. You can watch the recording on YouTube. But I just sent Gerry a picture. I'm going to show a little blast from the past. I made it to the final round. I actually didn't win the final round, but there I am. I'm in a little head of me trying to solve the puzzle. It was a phrase, and the answer was, I'm halfway home, and I didn't get it. I didn't figure it out. I still won like 40 grand.
That's a good looking photo, man.
25 grand.
That's Hollywood.
Well, I got a story. We're getting back to okay, we can take that off. We're getting back to our point here. So he asks, what? Max asked me, give me some tips. And I said, now, Max he performs on Broadway. He's a guitarist. He performs for Broadway shows. So he has a lot of, I guess a lot of eyeballs on him, a lot of ear balls. Is that an ear ball? What's an ear ball? A lot of ear drums on him every night. And he's really good at focusing on playing the guitar, not worrying about all the noise, all the ear balls or eyeballs on him. So I said, take that same presence, that same focus, and move it to Wheel of Fortune. All it is you and the puzzle. It's not the host. It's not the other contestants. It's not all the lights. It's not the crowd.
That's hard to do if you're in front of the cameras for the first time.
Right? Yeah. But when I was on there, I used that presence that I used in ice hockey, that I use in triathlon, and I just focused on the puzzle. I didn't care what Pat Sajak was doing. It's Ryan Seacrest now, who I trained Ryan Seacrest for a couple of years. Did you know that? Years ago.
No, I didn't.
Ryan's physique is BBJ, #BBJ, Body by Jim. Did you know this? But... So he's the host now. I said,
you've really been holding out on
Max, you got to focus on the puzzle, quiet the noise. Just like you do every night on Broadway, just like you do when you're training for triathlon. Quiet the noise. It's just you and the puzzle. These other contestants don't know that, right? They don't know.
Right.
I'm not assuming they're triathletes or Broadway performers. They don't know how to quiet the noise. You're better than anybody at it.
It's presence. It's great advice. And in fact, it's very timely advice, obviously, because Max needs that. Is it today?
Today, right now. He's pulling into the lot. He's in there right now.
And about 2,500 athletes are going to need that in about 2 weeks. Kona
I
Ironman.
like the way you're transitioning into our
Well,
Kona talk.
the thing is, as you know, you've been there a bunch of times. We were there together a couple of times. To me, of all races I've ever been to in any sport, Kona is unique. It's almost like a prance that goes on anywhere from about 3/8 of a mile out towards the finish line, right?
Yep.
During the days leading up. Everyone's running back and forth, or they're
Yep.
and it's not intentional, but it's almost peacocking, is what it seems like.
Dig Me Beach. I call it Dig Me Beach because you go on there and everybody's saying, hey, dig me.
And everyone's out there doing their thing, and it's really difficult to probably not get caught up in that dragnet.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
You know?
And,
And that's why I was telling Miss J actually yesterday morning.
Yeah.
You got to stay out of that.
Yeah.
It-
Well, you see the best athletes, the pro athletes who are really in it to win it. You don't see them all week. You don't see them at the underwear run. You don't see them at maybe you see them at Dig Me Beach at 5:30, 6 a.m. and then they're out of there,
And then
right?
they're
Or they're at the pool on their own, but they're not around. They're not because that island just sucks the life out of you.
Well, that's
right?
why one of the reasons Cam Worth stays like 30 minutes away, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it just totally sucks the life out of you. Then you have the noise from all the other athletes and the sponsors. Everybody thinks they got to be doing this and that and this and that. What are you there for? You're there to perform, right? You're not there to shake hands, kiss babies. You can do that afterwards. I mean, unless you're me and you. When we were there, it was like I had to carry the pen. Sure, I'll carry it. Sign your head. But yeah, you have to remember why you're there and keep that front forward. You stay in the air conditioning. You stay off your feet. You do obviously the check-in and bike check and all that stuff. But other than that, your focus is race day.
Right. And one of the things, in particular, since we do a lot of swim stuff, is we did a podcast. I forget the number, around 59, something like that.
50.
Jim.
I had it up earlier. I think
What
it's
was
number
it?
59. Yeah.
Number 59.
58 or 59.
59, optimizing the Kona swim. You and I went out, swam the course, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The day before, I believe, or 2 days before, swam the course, and then did a very detailed podcast on the course, the markers, what to look for, and it hasn't changed. So
No.
what we did a number of years ago, if anyone's racing Kona, all the women that are racing Kona this year, go listen to that podcast. You will get a step by step, just like you were talking about your run, broken into all the segments in Nice. You will get a step by step sort of carroting along on how to swim that course and what to expect.
And there is a way to do it, right? So listen to that podcast, and if you have questions, write down the YouTube video or email gery@tower26.com. But what are a couple things that, just broad strokes that they should look at on the Kona course, Jer? If they're going to go listen. We know everybody's going to go listen to that podcast, but just if you had to say, okay, look out for this, this, and this, anything that comes to mind?
Well, the year that we were there, Jim, I believe there was, and I don't think this is normal, there was a swell.
Yeah.
And there was pretty decent-sized surf rolling in, sort of cross coming in. So you'd want to check to see what surf conditions are. And I remember, Jim, this actually bothered me, by the way. I remember contacting a well-known pro athlete.
Yeah, this is frustrating.
A very well-known pro athlete who lived, and probably still lives in Hawaii, retired, okay?
Yep.
That even was coaching at that time one of our athletes. And we had, I think, a dozen or so athletes racing.
Yeah.
And I figured, here's a homegrown guy. He's not homegrown. He's been living in Hawaii, in Kona. Let's call him up and get the intricacies of the course. Because I'm going to know, I can give pretty broad strokes, but I can't get into the total detail because I haven't swam that thing 100 times. And he said no.
He wouldn't give you any info.
He wouldn't give any info. And I was miffed, actually, for me, and surprised, but like anything else, he's not coaching anymore, and like most of these athletes, he's sort of on the sidelines, right?
Yeah, it's
but
it's frustrating to hear stuff like that because you look at, micro, it's one race, right? But what would that have done for our relationship macro, his ability to promote himself as a coach and share knowledge, and it's so small-minded.
It's all about sharing, and that's how we advance the sport. But here's what I'm going to say about that, and put an end to that portion of it. I don't think that was a good move in his part, but I don't think any of us want to be judged based on our worst day, and I don't think that was anywhere near to one of his best days. So, that being said, if there's any sort of swell, you want to ask the local lifeguards there or the local folks that know the beach really well how to position yourself, which is what we ended up doing. And at the end of the day, and if the swell is rolling inward, then make sure that you are positioned with some folks sort of blocking you from the chop that's coming in towards you. Also, if it's rolling in strong, you do have to angle somewhat to the right, at least on your way out, because the water, the flow is going to be pushing you in towards the beach. But other than that, the course is so well marked, Jim. You've got big landmarkers along the way. You got the hotel, whatever the name is, the Kona Surf or whatever it may be, that's on the left. You've got terrific markers. If you swim crooked in that course, it's because you didn't do your homework. And the podcast goes over all the details of it. It's a fairly easy course to swim straight. Now, once you get out into the real open, it does get choppy, right?
Yeah.
You get a little bumpiness out there, so just know that.
Yeah, once you get in an open ocean, it definitely starts rolling a little bit more.
Yeah,
so just be prepared for it.
And you make that right turn, you sort of swim that maybe 200-300 meters, a few hundred meters before you head back, and that's where you get head on into some incoming. But other than that, it's the course is so beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah,
relatively easy.
Well, that's the same thing in Nice. Like, I was just enjoying the swim so much. I could have stayed out there and done another loop. Water was so clear. You could see the feet right in front of you. I had a couple guys to swim with. So have fun with it. Find some people to swim with and enjoy the process while you're out there.
Yeah. And if you're there, especially a few days ahead of time, just swim the course. It's easy.
Yeah.
Super easy and get familiar and learn it. So on event day, it's not a big deal. I don't suggest, if you go there just 2 or 3 days before, I don't suggest riding and running the course. But you can swim the course because swimming is relatively.
Every year we have somebody crash on the bike before race day. They spend so many months preparing, and then they go out there, and there's so many people on the road. There's so much traffic. So if you're riding, we call it Bubble Boy protocol now, right? You're within a month of a race, Bubble Boy protocol. You're taking every precaution necessary. Right. You're not risking anything because me and you work too hard preparing these guys. They go out there and they crash. I'm one pissed off coach, buddy. Right. One pissed off coach. So we had Casper, what's his name? Stornes run a 2:29. Stonies? Who's the guy that won championship? I was on course, so I don't know. Yeah. Ran a 2:29 to win the Ironman World Championship. Norwegian guy.
Pretty extraordinary. And was that a negative split or close to it?
It was close to it. It was fast. The guy was moving. He had he had his buddies to run with, right? Christian and Gustav Eden were both running with him, and it was just looked like they were out for a Sunday jog, the three of them, when they were in the recap that I saw. But one thing that you made note of is the amount of carbohydrates these guys are taking in per hour now. 160 grams an hour. And, they finished the race. Remember when McCormick used to finish, or Alexander, and these guys would be done with Kona, and they would be laying by the side for an hour before they could do an interview.
Right.
These guys finish now, and they're just like, hey, what's next? Yeah. When's the next? Are we doing this again tomorrow? Right. And I think a lot of, I'm sure that ability to finish strong and just feel great after the race is all backed up by the fuel they're putting in their system throughout the race.
The advancement in knowledge and science to do with nutrition and fueling is so significant relative to just a recent 5 years ago, right? And these guys are obviously practicing it in their training sessions, so they're able to execute with that amount of intake, right, per hour intake. I presume you wouldn't advise that if you're not practicing
that's the point I was trying to make. Is I lead the bike workouts here. I'm talking the whole time. I didn't do the right training going in, and I wasn't taking in the fuel when I was doing the training. I was just trying to cram training in. So even though I have a steel gut when it comes to racing in the past, I've had a steel gut. I could take 120 to 150 grams an hour.
Great constitution. Yep.
But I have not done it as of late, right? I haven't raced this year yet. This was the first time I raced this year. I got on course and I could not stomach gels. I took, for the first half of the bike, I took some. The back half of the bike and the entire marathon, not one gel. I ate some watermelon and drank some Precision Hydration 1000 and some water the rest of the race because my gut had de-adapted.
Yep.
Had de-adapted. Is that a word? De-adapted.
If you say it, it is.
Had not been adapted to the stress of breaking down the sugars. So what I had taken was in there, it was too concentrated and it was causing distress.
Yep.
And I knew I couldn't take any more. I would have some issues. these guys, like you said, they're practicing with it day in and day out, day in and day out. They're adapting their system to digesting those sugars, and then they're working for them.
And just like training sessions, Jim, they don't start at 160. They would start at a much lower dosage, and then over time you build up until, I mean, the tour riders now are up to, some of them, over 200 grams per hour. I mean, it's pretty extraordinary, but it shows up in performance. Obviously, these athletes are well trained. Their training plans are honed in and very specific and targeted to the demands. But the fact that you now have, I think in this particular race, there were 4 guys that ran under 232. Mm-hmm. These are almost the 4 fastest times all in this course. One under 230 and then 231, 232, right?
Yeah. Fast.
I mean, these are fast runs. Now, it is somewhat of a flat course, but it's pretty extraordinary performance.
What kind of car did you have in high school? What did you drive? What was your first car?
Call it PED.
PED.
My feet.
Your feet.
No car.
I had a 1985 Grand Prix, right? This thing was big block engine, carburetor, alternator, all this stuff. It took, 4 miles to a gallon. And you're in high school, right? You have $5 to your name. I would sputter. Sputter into the gas station, put in $5, and then pull out. Once again, fumes to the gas station, pull out, right? That's what happens to your body. If you're not practicing those carbohydrates and replacing those carbohydrates as the energy wears down, you're just going to sputter to a stop, like my 1985 Grand Prix pulling into the gas station. You got to stay on top of them. You got to preemptively stay on top of it. These guys have practiced that from 30 minutes before the start all the way to the finish line. They're at some insane amount of carbohydrate intake, electrolyte intake, and it's showing in their performance and then their ability to recover from that performance.
No, it was, watching it was pretty extraordinary, seeing every aid station, what they were doing, and not missing aid stations. The whole process, it very, very detailed out for them.
Yeah.
And obviously it showed up in excellent performances.
And everybody's on precision hydration. I am telling you, it is just like, it's everywhere. Every pro athlete's on it. It's all over the courses. All the amateur athletes are on it. I mean, I like
they have the science dialed in.
They give us credit because it's our, it's the support of the show, and we talk about it on every show. But precisionhydration.com, I'm not telling you guys anything new. It's everywhere. It's formulated so it actually gets into the system.
Do you like the taste of it?
I love it because it's very subtle.
And usually I don't. I'm sort of what's called somewhat of a super taster. I mean, I find all the
sommelier of nutrition. That's you.
And it's I actually enjoy the taste of
it tastes good. Yeah. Megan's on it right now. She's taking 1,500 a few times a day. I'll go to get on the bike and I say, what the heck happened to all my 1,500 tablets? My wife has taken them, and she doesn't do any of this crazy stuff. She just likes the taste of it. So precisionhydration.com, go check that out. We have the planner in our show notes. We have the 15% discount in the show notes. So check out the show notes, but I'm not telling you anything new. Precision Hydration's the bomb, and all these guys are on it.
Do you think, is there a connection between the hydration and the fueling and the nutrition in general that's carrying forward into all these sports? I mean, did you see the World Championships?
I 100% think that's
World Track and Field Championships.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much more research done on how to fuel the engine, and they're not just taking some random gel they buy on Amazon. They're taking these gels and these products that are formulated to get to the system and fuel the muscles.
There were 4 races to me, Jim, that stood out that were so.
We're talking about the track and field World Championships.
In Tokyo. 4 races that were just extraordinary. The men's steeplechase, I thought, was outstanding to watch.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen it, go watch.
Yeah.
Women's 400 on the track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cindy McLaughlin. But it
wasn't just right down the road.
Right down the road.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Cindy McLaughlin. It was Cindy McLaughlin and 2 others that were, blink of an eye.
Yeah.
I mean, this is and I hadn't noticed this before. Maybe I was just unaware. But you go now and you can get all the splits every 100 of these races. So you could see how these girls were relative to each other, or guys relative to each other along the way, on how, where they outsplitted one another. I mean, so go check the women's 400, which was an outstanding event. Men's 5,000. That was something. That was an extraordinary race. And if you haven't seen it, and I don't know if you know, should I?
Do the spoiler.
Do the spoiler?
Yeah, spoiler. What do you got?
Cole Hawker,
Again.
DQ'd.
Yeah.
Disqualified in the 1500 for.
The 1500.
He got disqualified in the 1500 for sort of nudging his way and then getting a move that hindered, obstructed performance of one of the athletes, and they ended up protesting, and he got disqualified. So, and it's an Olympic gold medalist, right?
Yep.
So didn't get to run in the final of the 15, but then runs in the 5K. And if you just looked at the last 400 in that race with 400 to go, you don't even see Cole Hawker. And the guy runs a 52-second last quarter.
Wow.
On that last 80 meters, it's as if he didn't run 4,920.
Wow.
I mean, it was just incredible.
Well, we spoke
if
about
you haven't
that.
seen it,
We
you
spoke
gotta
about that on our 2 p.m. call, how important pacing is, right? How important knowing your pacing, sticking to your plan, and not letting the noise of other athletes' pacing affect your race execution. He had confidence in his plan, and he knew, hey, that last quarter, I'm going to run 52, and no one else can keep up with me because I executed. If he had let the group affect his race execution strategy, there's no way he could have run that.
It took incredible patience, and in fact, I would suggest you watch that race, the 5K, and even if you just watch the last 800 meters of it, so you watch 2 minutes of it, okay?
Yeah.
And then go talk about patience. Perfect lead-in, by the way. Then go watch the next best race, I thought, was the women's 4x400, okay?
Yeah.
4x400 because we lost. We, the United States, lost.
Doesn't happen often,
Okay.
the 4x400.
We lost because our last girl, on the third leg, we got passed and took off in second or third place. So it's just a 400, and our closing athlete overran the first 100. Overran the first 100.
Got excited.
Closed the gap, took the lead early, and then just like a balloon that you blow up and you don't tie a knot in it, you let it go and it just fizzles out.
Yep.
And the last 80 meters was ugly. When you get to that level, you should have pacing down. You should have confidence in place. You should have, you should have more Cole Hawker.
Yep.
I mean, so watch Cole Hawker in the 5K closing, and then watch the women's 400, and I can't remember the lady's name, but you guaranteed she wouldn't make that mistake again. It was it's a 400, so it's a 50-second leg that you're running. You don't run the first segment in sub 11 seconds.
Yeah, that's not prudent. It's not leaving any. But we extend that out over the course of Ironman. Know your race.
That's the message.
Strategy, and stick to it. Don't let everyone else affect what you're doing. I knew in Nice I wasn't in the best fitness. I got lightning and thunder here, Jerry. I don't have the best watts per kilogram going uphill. I got to carry a lot of weight, fight gravity a lot. I'm a big Polak. I know I don't climb the best. So I went into it saying, when I'm going up the main climb, I'm going to keep my heart rate 150 to 160. When it flattens out a little bit, the rolling, it never really flattens out, but I'm going to keep it 145 to 155. All day long, I stayed in that range, right? I was never above it. I never let all the parade of people passing me on the climb affect me. I kept it in the heart rate zone, and I said, if I want any chance to run a marathon off this bike, this is where I have to keep it. I did it. I think I averaged 145 beats a minute for the entire ride, and I stayed within myself, and I didn't let my ego talk, and allowed me to cross the finish line.
Well, good experience. And, one of the beauties and values of being a coach is this is something you teach constantly. So,
yeah.
And you also know that your athletes are watching you when you're racing or following you. So you want to make sure that your athletes are sort of your own guardrails to some extent, right?
Oh,
because
totally,
if you step outside of your guardrails, they're going to come and, hey,
do as I say,
coach, exactly.
That's why I say do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
But the only reason I got out of T2 is because I knew all the athletes and you had your eye on me, and I had to get out there and make sure because I didn't want to answer a bunch of questions saying, what happened to you? What happened to you? I had to get out there and say, okay.
Absolutely.
I'm out there. I'm doing it, all right? But amazing run course. People were everywhere, back to me. But, okay, what else you got?
Well, we got the workout of the episode.
Yeah, I think it's about time for the workout of the episode, because we have a question. We're not going to name the question or the comment. Let's get to that, the cliffhanger. We have an interesting comment that came in.
Oh, and we do that after the workout?
Let's go work out of the episode, and then we'll talk about this comment, because it's going to lead to a little bit of a discussion. But what's the workout of the episode? Coaching.tower26.com. Go check out the workout of the episode, and we're still in our race ready phase. We got a few more weeks of this.
Yeah, we're wrapping up this phase, as you know, and for Tower 26, our season is broken into 5 phases. Our race ready phase is the phase we're in right now. The concluding phase, it's the largest phase, it's the bulkiest phase. It's a racing phase. And one of the things, Jim, as you know, in this phase is that many athletes, they may get done with their last race in mid-August, and then they conclude their season, right?
Yeah.
Which we shouldn't really do, because if you're on our plan, at least, there's several more weeks of training. And then especially regarding swimming, since we're mainly talking about triathlon swimming here,
Coming back to us.
the skill, sorry, I should have, the skill building needed, right? The skill building needed for open water, the sighting, the acquiring all those skills, you need to continue to acquire those and learn those, and not just stop because your race is over. You still got several weeks left, so continue on. For instance, our beach sessions, don't miss the sessions.
Yeah.
Continue coming to the sessions. You don't have to go hard and drill the workouts, but there's a whole lot of skill acquisition to still be acquired.
Yeah, you've worked so hard coming this far. Why wouldn't you finish it off and really grasp what we're working on?
Right. There's always improvements that we can make. So continue rolling along, and especially now for us in Southern California. I mean, Jim, it's 70 degrees at the beach. The water is 70 to 72, 73. I mean, the conditions are terrific. Miss J, by the way, happened to find the only stingray in the entire Pacific.
It's funny. Jacqueline gets stung by a stingray either Wednesday.
Not stingray, jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Sorry.
And we've never had that happen before.
Never
A jellyfish sting in 20 years of doing it out there.
Right.
The day before, she texted me, "What's the jellyfish situation in Kona? Should I be worried?" The day before this.
Wow.
And then she got stung by a jellyfish. The only jellyfish in this part of the Pacific Ocean, she got stung by the next day.
Yeah, she
jinxed herself.
She had a nice welt.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
She's in bubble boy
face
protocol.
all the way, down around her back, and it was a good one.
But that's the only
she sent
one
me a
we've ever
message
seen.
last night saying, bringing me up to date. Let me know everything's okay. And she's okay.
She'll keep you in the loop. But she's fine. But it was really just timely that she got stung by that jellyfish right after our conversation.
Yep.
All right, what is the workout of the episode? Coaching.tower26.com. Go and do the same workouts we are doing on deck here in Southern California.
So if you look at this, what's on your screen right now, in the top left,
we're on YouTube, on the Tower 26 YouTube channel. If you guys are listening at home, go check that out and subscribe. A lot of good content on there.
You'll see on the top left, there's an arrow, blue arrow, top left, and 000 next to it. That's an audio file, and this particular audio file is 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And every workout has an audio file. And it explains the audio. The audio explains the workout and talks about some of the skill building things that we have videos of. So what I'll do, Jim, is
get up on that mic.
I will show the full workout where we have all the video demonstrations of what to do.
So if you say, I'm reading, what the hell is kicking on my back? I don't know what that is. There's a video there to show you what kicking on your back is. I don't know what a deck up is. There's a video to show you what a deck up is. So there's no questions.
Correct. Oh, it looks like some of these videos got stuck. Here's sighting videos. So it's all built into this plan for you, how to sight correctly and so on. So this particular workout, I coached this morning, by the way, Jim, and yesterday. And I changed up the warm-up to suit our particular needs. But once we went into the main set, we did the 25s of warm-up, by the way, but I did them with fins. Mm-hmm. So once you follow the protocol...
So the warm-up's 16 25s on 10-second rest. So.
Right, and I made some changes to that.
What's the benefit of doing it with fins? Why did you have them add fins?
Because I wanted to have an increasing or decreasing interval, and the last portion of the interval was going to be pretty tight. So we went, for the faster athletes, we went on a 20-second interval. But I still wanted to be somewhat warm-up, where you're not going too hard, but 20 seconds is fairly tough. So I gave them the fins as a little bit of benefit, right, to help out, and also to help get the legs warmed up, because we were going to go into a fairly tough main set. So main set was 5 swims, and they're approximately 6 to 7 minute efforts. So the distance varies, right, depending on your level. So for us, it was 5 500s. And we did this with a couple minutes rest in between, but here's how we did them. The first one and the third one were continuous, nonstop, and those were sort of static efforts, 75, no better than 80% effort, so consistent pacing. But the excitement came on numbers 2, 3, and 5. Number 2, you have to have a partner, And in our case, we had 3 or 4 people in a lane, so there were multiple partners. And you switched off leaders each and every 100. So you and I are partners. You would swim the first 100. I would sit on your feet and draft. And then at the end of the 100, you'd pull aside, and then I'd take the lead, and you hop on my feet, right?
Yeah.
So we alternated leaders by each 100, and then we upped the effort to about 85% of maximum heart rate for the leader. And the leader had to sight 2 times per 25. So for the 100 that you're leading out, you're sighting 8 times. Wow. And the draftee had to sight 1 time per 25. So when I'm drafting off of you, I just need to sight once. And I got to stay in contact right on your toes. If you get 3 feet, just 3 feet, right, half a body length-ish, off of somebody's toes, you've lost almost 50% of the draft.
Yeah.
So the message was, do what it takes to stay on the toes. And then switched off each and every 100. That's how we did number 2. A couple of minutes break. And then on the third one, we switched off every 50, and we increased effort to 90% of maximum heart rate. So faster effort, shorter distance, and everyone switching off. So that was exciting. Then we did the fourth one was all recovery. It was continuous again. And a lot of our athletes to pull, because some athletes like pulling. They get a little more recovery with their pull buoy. Mm-hmm. So we used the pull buoy for most of them. I gave them the option if they wanted to. And then the 5th one was where we went after it. Those were all from a dive, practicing a race start, or the feeling that comes with a race start. Remember, training is about preparing the athlete for what race day is going to feel like.
Yep.
So it's familiar. So you're not overly anxious, or you're at a minimum, if you have anxiety, you're familiar with that anxiety and how to manage it.
Yeah.
So we broke up the last one, in this case, the last 500 into 10 50s, all from a dive. Okay. Now some athletes can't dive. They don't dive well. They're either unskilled or don't want to dive, or their goggles come off. So those athletes, we have them start on the pool deck and they jump into the water and push off the wall, but they still start on the deck, just like you would standing on the beach getting ready for a race start, or on the lakeside, right? You swim the 50 fast. You're in pace line formation again, so you have your lane, your buddy with you, or several people if you have several in your lane, equal speed, and you're going fast, really fast in that 50, and everyone has got to hang on to your feet. And if you're leading, again, you're sighting 2 times per 25. If you're following, you're sighting only 1 time per 25. And then into an immediate deck up. Mm-hmm. Immediate deck up on conclusion. And here's what you couldn't do. Let's go back to you and I for a second. And we gave a lot of rest in these. We're getting 30 to 45 seconds rest. The tendency, especially after the first 2 or 3 when heart rate's up and fatigue is setting in, the tendency once you deck up is to stand up and to do this. Bend over, put your hands on your knees, because you're helping lower or manage heart rate. Well, guess what? You don't exit the swim and do that, right?
Right.
You're not going to go to Kona and you climb up those stairs and your heart rate's blown up, and then you're going to stop at the top of the stairs and put your hands on your knees, right? And you're also not going to run hinged over at 45 degrees. So athletes could not hinge over.
Right.
You
Practice.
had to
Practice.
Exactly.
Practice the way you play.
Had to stand up erect for the recovery, which is about 30 to 45 seconds. And we just rinsed and repeated. And everyone got a chance to lead at least 1 or 2 of those 50s.
I love that set.
Yeah.
And pull a little bit to finish. And,
yeah, exactly.
What an awesome set. I was thinking about Nice when you were doing this, is because I jumped, it's a mass start, people everywhere. You take it out fast, right? So the race takeout effort, close quarter swimming, found some guys that were my speed, got on the feet. Everything just came naturally because we've practiced it time and time and time and time again. I didn't have to even think. I just had to think about executing my effort. I just worked the semantic, worked the details, because it's ingrained in my brain. All those things that you talked about in that set is exactly what I pulled out in Nice without even thinking about it, because we've done it for session after session, month over month, year over year. It just comes when you work on it, you practice the way you play, and then typically I'm the first one through transition. I'm on my bike before anybody else because I've practiced getting my ass through transition, knowing my heart rate's going to be spiked, knowing I can move through it and it'll eventually come down, but you got to practice it. You don't bend over. You mimic the feel that you're going to have on race day.
You want to bend over.
Right. Everything you're being wants to bend over. Yeah.
But this is why we practice them, so you get adapted to it,
Yeah.
and therefore you end up not really having the need to do it.
And it's really easy to pull the chute, as we like to say. Pull the chute, as Coach Langer used to say. Really easy to pull the chute on those last 50s and say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm just going to kind of go at my own effort. And, you know, maybe I won't deck up. I'll just stay on the wall, lollygag here, give myself a ton of rest. One thing I want to talk about in a future episode is durability. I listened to a talk by a cycling coach, FastCat, FASCAT, is cycling coach. And he's talking about durability and Pogacar, his number one metric now isn't power, it's not heart rate, it's not TSS, it's durability.
I've been reading about that.
He has a way to measure the durability. And one of the things in durability is doing hard intervals on top of the fatigue from everything else in the workout. So those 50s at the end, as much as everything in your being wants to say, okay, back it off, you're tired, by you pushing through and pushing hard on those 50s, you're not only, you know, gaining a ton of fitness, but you're gaining your ability to push through 2,000 meters, 4,000 meters at a strong effort because you're building so much durability to get through it at your race pace.
No, exactly. And that's why it comes at the end of the workout, too, to your point, or Pogacar's coach's point, of, you know, that it's higher stress because you're fatigued at the end, and we got to stay, come back to the beginning of our podcast, stay present.
Yep.
Do all the elements correctly, right?
And there's 7 points that he made in his talk, and I'll put his talk in the show notes, but it's stuff that maybe I want to touch on in a future episode because it's the way we coach. He just puts it into a really good, a really good video on YouTube and talks about it. So maybe we can touch on those in a future episode. But go to coaching.tower26.com, get all the details of that episode, all the video, all the audio, coach feedback. And it's for a bargain too. Like we're giving that thing away for practically nothing. So coaching.tower26.com. We're in our race ready phase. We're going to get into our technical technique phase shortly. So now is the time to join.
So I want to bring something up that we didn't talk about, Jim, and just take 1 minute to make a suggestion to, I believe it's USA Triathlon that, I think it's USA Triathlon that hosts this now. There's something called the Endurance Exchange. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I've heard a thing or two about it. Yep.
I just got an email this week inviting me to it, which I'm probably sure you did too.
Yep.
Probably went out to all coaches, right?
Yeah, I got it. Yep.
And club leaders, right?
Yep.
Here's a problem I have at the Endurance Exchange. And it's something that I think whoever's running this, they can do a better job at. So I've been to a few of those when it used to be called TBI, Triathlon Business International, right?
Yep.
And the same issues I had then are the same issues I have now, although it's a bit better. I have not gone to the last couple since I believe this is now fully run by USA Triathlon. If you're selling a service, which is what they're doing, they're selling let's call it a seminar service. You go there for a few days, there are a bunch of keynote speakers, a number of topics to go over, right? So what are you really selling? You're selling content, right? Do you think you should have the content up and the speakers up?
You think so? Yeah.
You're right.
I think what you're going to learn, you want to know what you're going to learn about.
Or you want to know so you can make a decision if to go.
Yeah.
So as of yesterday, they had a few people, but when I first went on 2 months ago, they didn't have anybody. So you open up your sales pitch, come to our event, but you don't outline what one is coming for, what you're attending for. What are you going to learn?
Where is this event? Do you know?
I think the one this year is in Florida.
Here's my gripe. Batman and Robin haven't been invited. The two names of triathlon, education, and personality, we should be on the docket. Live podcast, Endurance Exchange.
Well, agreed to some extent, but...
To some extent. I think at every extent. Why the hell are we on there? Justin Reel. Is that his name? Justin Reel, head of USAT coaching. Is that Justin, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Let's get him. Come on, buddy. Batman and Robin, live podcast, 10 CEUs for all the coaches.
I think that have your speakers built out. Back up 3 months and get your job done and have your entire syllabus laid out, the days, the times, the speakers, the meetings, so that when you send these emails out, people are going to sign up. It doesn't feel good being baited, because here's how it feels to me. Come to my Endurance Exchange. I got nothing to sell you right now, but sign up anyway. I want your money. It just doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, you think
it's like saying, come to my workout, but we my swim workout, but we don't have a pool yet, but pay now.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel good. Do your job. I mean,
exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, it's hard to plan these things, but if you want to have
Agreed.
a successful, if
It
you wanna
is
have
hard to go out.
But if you want to have a successful event, you got to do a lot of pre-planning, and it has to be months and months and months in advance. And sure, people will come on board. Maybe in 3 months out, someone else, maybe Batman and Robin will decide they want to do a podcast there, and you have to add that to the docket. But have your main presenters in order so you know exactly what you're signing up for.
Right.
You know?
So
There's certain people I see sign up that see on there. Hell no, I'm not going. I'm not gonna listen to that guy. You know, O'Driscoll's on there. I'm not gonna listen to him. Come on. So we did get a note, and we got a note about the Santa Barbara Triathlon. You want to talk about that note,
sure.
or is that a deeper discussion?
No,
We had a great event at Santa Barbara Triathlon. Very few complaints, but there's always complainers out there. But
there were 3 complainers.
three complainers out of 1,500, 1,700 athletes. It was a huge contingent out there. It was such a fun event. But you never know what you're going to hear when you're dealing with the public. And we got a note, and I had never actually heard this before, because all you need is a little bit of Windex and your fingernail, and you can take care of this situation. But we had an athlete write in saying that. Can I say it? You want me to address it?
You do it, and I'll talk.
I had an athlete write in and say, had fun at the event, but I'm probably not going to race your race anymore, because when I put the helmet sticker on my helmet and then I took it off after the race, it left some residue and it ruined my helmet. I mean, do you see these medals over here? That's probably 400 races. Every single one, I had a helmet sticker. And sure, sometimes you take the helmet sticker off and there's a little residue. You take some Windex, you rub it with your finger. The rest of it comes off. If you're really concerned about that, I really don't care if there's residue on my helmet. It's like, the guys that took Omaha Beach on D-Day didn't care about, the marks on their helmet.
All right.
They said, no, we're going to take that freaking beach. I don't care about marks on my helmet. I've never heard this. So he's never going to race the race anymore because he has a mark on a helmet from a sticker, even though the race was done so professionally. Everybody had a blast. I don't get it. Where is this? What's this mindset? Is this the new day and age that I'm going to have to talk to these 18 to 20-year-old kids on the hockey team that I'm going to have to overcome? Like, hey, I got a mark on my glove, so I'm not going to wear that glove.
How many years have you raced triathlon?
2005 I started. So
okay, so 21 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been involved in triathlon since 1983.
Two.
So do the math on that.
Yeah,
I can't even add those numbers, okay? I have never heard this.
Yeah,
or at least to be brought up. And where I go with this in my mind is, for someone actually to take the time to write this, it was obviously important to them, okay? So I recognize that. But are we looking for perfection every single day in every single thing that we're paying for? And is there any self-responsibility, such as, Jim, if you didn't know how to do something, there's that thing called YouTube now that you can actually go on that age range.
You should see the things I've been YouTubing the last couple of weeks. Oh, yeah.
At this guy's age range, he lives on YouTube, right? It can actually tell you how to take a sticker off. Okay, yeah. And not have whatever he used to take it off with created a scratch in his helmet. I mean, really, you're going to send this to a race director and tell them you're not going to come to a race again because of poor quality stickers, and that's a vendor that we use, right? Yeah. And 1,300 other athletes don't complain. I mean, it's like, why do you think you have to be heard on something so minor? Where are we? What's the big picture in this? I always try to go, okay, what's large scale here? What is the message being said? And is the message being said, I need perfection, or I need to be heard, or I don't have tolerance? What is the real big message? I don't really get it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it could be worse.
Help me understand it.
George Costanza on Seinfeld bought cheap envelopes for his wedding. So when his wife licked the envelopes to send out to the guests, it was toxic glue and she died. Right?
Oh, jeez.
So it could be worse, right? You could buy stickers that had toxic glue that seeped through the brain, and then all of a sudden you have 1,500 athletes that aren't here anymore. Well, so this is just a sticker on the helmet. It could be a lot worse. Or you could be storming Omaha Beach on D-Day, and that is a lot worse. A little residue on the helmet isn't the end of the day, and the fact that you're gonna sum everything up, the great experiences you had, to a little residue on the sticker, and make that the reason you're never coming back. Maybe there's bigger problems.
I think every athlete that participates in a triathlon should volunteer to race.
Yeah.
So they can have an idea of what it goes
Volunteer
into.
at the race. Yes.
Oh, yeah, wherever your local event is, go offer up your service for an hour, half an hour, 2 hours, whatever. Go to the race and volunteer. So you would know what goes into putting these events on, and you wouldn't send a freaking note about sticker on a glue on a sticker for your helmet.
I don't think
really?
Elizabeth slept for 2 weeks leading into that. I don't think she had 1 ounce of sleep because we were up eating dinner at 8 p.m. I heard her stomping around the kitchen going down the race at like midnight, 1 a.m. I mean, it's insane what these race directors and these volunteers and all the people that work at these races do so you can cross the finish line and get your medal.
So thank you, race director.
Hey, if you don't want to race because of the sticker, you got bigger problems in your life, and go find out what's going on. Maybe talk to somebody.
Let's end this. You always close the podcast, but here's my ending note, guys. Good luck in Kona. It's going to be an incredible experience. Always a great show, right? So best to all the athletes racing. Look forward to following all of you on event day.
Right. We didn't get to our video of the episode, GERY@tower26.com. We'll get into that the next one. We always got something to talk about, but hey, we fixed the sound over the last one. Got a new mixer, and
thanks for doing that.
Thanks for always tuning in, guys. We appreciate all the words of encouragement, and we're having fun with this thing, so we're going to keep it rolling. For Jerry Rodriguez, Jim Binsky, the Tower 26 Be Race Ready podcast. Thanks, guys. Bye.